I am Roy Okonji, and I'm born again. I'm grateful to God and indeed the church leadership for the opportunity to be used of the Lord as a vessel of His Word, and especially in these trying moments that we are facing, the COVID-19 pandemic. The message today is titled, Be Still and Know that I am God. And it is taken from the book of Psalms, chapter number 46 and verse number 10, even though the entire Psalms 46 would be what you are reading in order to capture the entire context of this message. Be still and know that I am God is a message that can be divided into two parts. And the first part is be still. What does it mean to be still? To be still is a call to relax. It is a call to stop fighting. It is a call to calm down. It is a call to stop frantic activity. It is a call to be quiet in God's presence. Be still is looking up to God for help. Be still is a call to surrender to God. It is only in stillness that we begin to acknowledge God's power and presence. Be still is a message both to the enemies of God's people and to God's people. To the enemies of God's people, be still is a command. Much like, hey, drop your weapons against my people. In verse number 9 of that chapter number 46 of Psalms, we see it being recorded that God stops wars all over the world. He breaks bows, He destroys spears, and He sets shields on fire. And therefore, be still can be viewed as a message to the enemies, as a command for your enemies to drop their weapons against you. Now, to God's people, be still is a wake-up call. Much like, hey, you've been fighting alone. You've been doing it alone by yourself. Take it easy and involve God. The book of 2 Chronicles, chapter number 20 and verse 15, has always reminded us that the battle belongs to God. Now, be still does not imply that you give up on your pursuits. It doesn't mean that you stop taking action. Be still means that you take a moment to involve God in your struggles, to allow Him fight for you. Now, the second part of that message is the part that says, know that I am God. And in this part, we are being encouraged to acknowledge God. God is saying, acknowledge me. Be aware of me. And what are we supposed to be aware of with regard to God? We're supposed to appreciate God's nature, who exactly He is. We're supposed to appreciate that God is omniscient. He's an all-knowing God. He is omnipresent. He is always present everywhere. He is omnipotent. He is sovereign. He is faithful. He is infinite. He is a good God. When you take a moment to acknowledge God, then it means that you can be able to trust Him and surrender to His will, because now you understand Him. It is not easy to trust someone that you do not understand. In life today, we are constantly battling. We are constantly running up and down. We are constantly fighting. We are constantly trying to make ends meet. We are constantly solving never-ending puzzles of life. We are constantly fighting to live. But unknown to many of us is that when you are active in a battle, when you are fighting, the mind and the body are fully engaged, so much engaged that sometimes you do not have chance to entertain any other thought. But sadly, this any other thought includes the thoughts of reflecting on God. In most cases, in a battle situation, it's always about us, our efforts, and the enemy that we are pursuing. Today, the world is concerned about the coronavirus disease, and all of us are fighting this enemy. This enemy is a special enemy, not a visible enemy to the eye. All of us are washing hands. All of us are wearing masks. We are keeping social distance. We are staying at home in a bid to avoid this disease and to also curb its spread. And I want to add my voice to it that it is a good thing to do all this. That we have to do everything that the government suggests that we do. However, as we do this, there are those amongst us who are in panic, who are fighting emotionally, who are carried away by fear, who do not know what would happen next and they are worried. There are those amongst us whose everything seems to be going wrong. Perhaps all your supplies have run dry or are running dry. All your savings are running out. Perhaps your salary has been reduced. Perhaps your salary has been stopped altogether. Maybe your business has deteriorated. Maybe it has collapsed altogether. Many of us are on the verge of giving up because of what is happening. We are fighting an emotional battle. To all of us, God is sounding the wake-up call. That we need to be still. That we need to be calm. That we need to surrender to Him. That we need to relax. That we need to remember that He is God. Only when we do that, only when we allow Him to change, to handle the situation, only when we become still in accordance to the word that we have reflected on, shall He be able to command the storm of COVID-19 to also be still and know that He is God. Storms will always confront us. But the last verse of Psalms 46, that is verse number 11, reminds us that the Lord Almighty is with us, that the God of Jacob is our refuge. In the name of God the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.